Alright guys, good day and I welcome you to the final part of this particular series on everything you need to know about this Pixellab software. So very quickly, I would like us to continue from where we stopped. So I'll just clear this, I'll put start default. Alright, I think by now you should know what I just clicked. So let's bring out our text. Alright, let's bring out our text. Yeah, so we have tutorial, or let's use something else. Let's use subscribe. Yeah, so this is a reminder, if you are new to my channel and you've not subscribed, yes, this is the right time for you to do that. So subscribe. All right, so we stopped at curve the last time. In our previous class we stopped at this curve. Yeah, so the next thing we have here is background. So I'm going to continue from here. So the next thing we have is background. We'll be touching every single thing on this particular application. So we have background. If you click on your background now, you would need to activate it. If you do not activate it, then nothing will come up. You get the gist now. So you need to enable the background for it to show. So this is what the background is. You get it now. This is what the background is. So you can change the background color here. You can see that you can change the background color either using color or use gradients. I believe I've told you what gradients are. We've spoken about that already. You can either give it gradient or you give it a normal color. So we have the left padding and the right padding. So look at this very carefully. You can see this text now. It's as if it is too close to the edge. I mean the edge here, the right and left. The right and the left, it is too close to the edge. So the left padding and the right padding is actually there for you to shift them. So if I should work on the left padding now, you would see what will happen. Can you see that this became, the left hand side became longer? Can you see? You get the gist now. So this is too much. Okay, let me just put it at 16. So you can see what we have now. You can see the left side is actually longer than the right side, which doesn't make it look appropriate. So you have to give the down part the same thing. I'm sorry, the right part, give it 16. So we have something perfect now. So you have something perfect. So as we have the sides, we also have the top and the bottom padding. We have the top and the bottom padding. If you think the top is too close to the text, or you don't, it is not yet what you want, you can always do that using the top and the bottom padding. So you can see that the top and the bottom padding. So I would leave this at 0. It is okay by me. So I will leave it at 0 and return this back to 0. So I'll return this back to 0. Sorry. Okay, we have this. So the last thing we can find here is radius. That's the last thing we can find here. So the radius is actually you curving the edge of the shape behind, of the background shape behind. So you can see what we have now. Can you see this, guys? You can see the back of the text is actually bent. You get my point now. So regardless, you can still change the text. If you feel like the font is not okay by you, you can still change it here. So let me use this. So you can see this now, or you can just change it to what you like. Let's use view as regular. So you can see what we have here. The radius is actually too much for me, so you can use something slightly, and push that 25. Okay, you can see this, guys. So that's what the background does in the text aspect. So we have something called, the next thing we have here is alignment. alignment. So okay, let me do this as an example. Like, sorry, I don't want to use an uppercase. Like, comment, share. Okay, we have this, guys. You can see this text. Let me just bring it back to center. Okay, we have this, guys. So what this alignment does is that it gives you the chance to actually explore, for you to express yourself, what you actually wanted. So looking at this now, this is center alignment. Look at this. that's what we have, center alignment. So if you want to bring it to the side, just like this, you click here. Can you see what we have? Can you see what we have now? And if you feel like you want it to fall to the right hand side, you bring it this way. So you get my point now. Can you see what we have? So that's what the alignment does. Basically, that's what it does. So we have spacing. Let me bring this back to center alignment, or I just bring it this way. Let me leave it this way. So the next thing we have here is spacing. What the spacing does is that it spaces your text. For an example, let's put it like this. So okay, we have this. Okay, we have this. Yeah, we have this. So this spacing is actually has two functions. Spacing, so you can either space the letters or you space the word. Just check down here. Can you either space the letter or you space the words? You get my point now. So if you are spacing the letter, then you should expect a gap to show up between the letters. Can you see this? This is line spacing. I'm sorry, this is letter spacing. But if you choose word, you would notice that the letters would be how they are, but the words will give space. Can you see this? Now you should know the difference between these two. You are actually spacing the words here, and if you change it to this, you are spacing the letters. Just get this straight. That's what it basically does. So the next thing we have here is line spacing. For a perfect example, let's re-edit this so you can understand what we are doing here. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is the very best time for you to do that. So we have this. Let's just increase the size so you can see this now and bring it to center. Sorry. So the next thing you want to do is line spacing. What this does is that it gives space to each word in let's just give it a try so you can see what I'm doing. You can see the difference now from ordinary spacing to line spacing. This is line spacing. You get my point now? This is line spacing. So this depends on you. It depends on what you are working on, and it depends on what you want to achieve with the design. So this is line spacing. If I think the text is too far, let's put it to the normal. Normally you can see this text is too far from each other. I can't use it this way on a design, depending on the kind of design I'm working it. So I can just feel like it being like this will be okay for me. So this is where you come to line spacing to actually give it what that spacing it needs. You get my point now? Right. So the next thing we have here is shape. Stroke. What stroke does is that it gives it something like a shadow, but this one is not sharp. All right, this is not sharp, it's sharp shadow. So you can see I can actually change the color of the stroke. These are the stroke in the elements. These are the strokes. These are the stroke color, and you can either give it a color or you give it a gradient color. You can give it two colors at a time. You get my point now? You can give it two colors. So that's that about that. And this is the stroke width, as you want the stroke to come out like so. You can see this stroke now. So you can see this is actually different from the background that we did do. This is stroke. It's just that we increase the size of the stroke. That's why it's like this. So this is stroke. If you need it on your design, you can actually activate it down there. So the next thing we have here is shadow. So you can see the shadows on the text. Yes, these are the shadows on the text. So you can either give it any color you want, but this doesn't have a gradient fill. So you can't use gradients on shadows. You can only pick a single color while working with shadows. So you can see the shadow now. So this is the blurry of the shadow. Let me just remove the background so that you can see what I'm talking about here. Let's off the background here. So this is it. So let's go back to shadow. Okay, this is the opacity. This depends on how you want the shadow to show. For better understanding, let me change the background color to, should I change it to white? Or okay, let me just give it this color. Okay, just for this tutorial, let me give it this color. So let's go back to test. So the background now. So you can see you can actually give the background color anything you want. it's all on you and what you want, but you can't give it a gradient blur, a gradient, what's it called, a gradient shadow. Yes, you can't give it a gradient shadow. You can only pick a single color, and that's all on you. So if you don't want the shadow to show too much, just as it is showing, you reduce it from opacity. You get my point? If you can just leave it at 50%, anything you want. So this is 100%, this is 50%. You get the gist now. It's all based on you. And if you think the blur radius is not sharp enough, you can increase the blur radius. You can see the difference now. You can see the difference. You can see the difference. This is blur radius. This is blur radius. This is where you can control how blur it will be. You get my gist now. So we have something here called outer glow. Outer glow. Outer glow. This is it. What this does is that it gives it another feel outside this normal blur. You get my point? Outside this normal blur, if you want it to show even more, then you should activate the outer glow. So you can see this is just like you adding a background to it, but then the background is blur. That's what the outer glow does. Outer glow. Once you enable it, then you have a feel like this. Then you have a feel like this. So we have offset X and offset Y. What this offset does is that it brings the shadows. It brings it like slightly. It takes it slightly behind the text. It takes it slightly away behind it. You get my point now. So let's give it a try. If you use offset Y, then this will bring it. You can see this is taking away. It's taking it away behind the text. It's taking it away behind the text, but I think this is too much. You shouldn't do something like this. But you can still give it something like this, like 15, and use offset Y. Offset Y will actually bring it down, but then you can just off your outer glow. Then you can give it a feel like this. I think this okay. You can leave this at 5, and you leave this at 5 too. So you can see the difference. Let's just increase the blur radius, or you can see what I did was that I reduced, this is the blur radius. I reduced the blur radius, and we have something like this. You can actually use this to make a design. It looks good already. You get my point now. This actually look good. So it's all based on what you actually want. So you can reduce the blur radius, then you have something like this, and you can increase it, then you have something like this. You get my point now. So that's that about that. Let's just switch it off and move on. So we have something called inner shadow. So what this does is that it brings this, it puts shadow on your text, but then the shadow will be inner, not outside. The shadow won't be inside your text, but it won't be outside your text, just like the one we just did, but it will be inside. If you look very closely, you'll be able to see it. There's a shadow inside, so you can see this is very dark. So for us to see this very well, let me give it a stroke. You know what a stroke is by now? Okay, I think we have a stroke on it before. Okay, we did not give it a size, so let's give it a stroke. I don't want to use a gradient stroke. Let's give it a stroke of color yellow. Then the inner shadow. Now we've activated the inner shadow, but then let's change the inner shadow's color. This is black, this is red. Okay, I want to use something that would actually show on our design. The stroke color is okay. Let's leave it like this. I know what to do. Okay, the inner shadow, all you just have to do is that you increase, if you want to see it very well. So this is the blur radius of the inner shadow, but then you don't actually need it to be this blur, but it's all based on you do. But you can still reduce it. And you can also use the offsets too. I told you what the offset is. Offset X will move it to the right hand side. If you increase it this way, it will move. You can see the shadow inside. It moves it to the right hand side, and if you reduce it, it moves it to the left hand side, just like this. But then let's put it at 0. 1 is okay. You can see what it's looking like already. And offset Y, you give it 1. This will actually bring it down, but then I think taking it up will be better for now, just for this tutorial. And you can always increase your blur radius. So you can always increase your blur radius. So see what we have now, just with the inner shadow. This is looking like a 3D text, but it's not. You're able to achieve this with the inner shadow being used, but it's looking like a 3D text, which is not. So you get my point now. So what's next on this is emboss. So this emboss, before we activate it, let me tell you this very quickly. I would still create a tutorial on this emboss, because there's something called distortion that this thing does. This emboss, it depends on the kind of phone you use. It works based on the specification of the phone you use for it to work better. But for this tutorial, let's just check it out. So you can see we have the light angle. I don't want to, this is kind of extensive than this, so I don't want to waste much of our time on this already. You get my point? So this is used to, you can actually use this to make a 3D text. Yes, it is part of the tools you can actually use on your 3D text. But then this doesn't work well on all devices, and there is a way you can actually resolve the emboss issue when you are using them on your design, your shape, your text, anything at all. I'll create a private tutorial on that, on how you can resolve emboss issues, resolve emboss issues while using a Pixellab application. So I would create a special tutorial on that. This actually works on smoothness, so you can see specular hardness, ambience. It might not really show on this text, but when you use it on shape, it shows pretty well. Right, so I'll create a special tutorial on this. So let's just move on. So then we have the perspective. This perspective, what this does is that it helps you to skew your text. It helps you to skew your text. What do I mean by skew? Let's bring it our grid lines. So let me just align this to center. So let's reduce the line spacing here. And what I want to do next is to just use the perspective tool. So just look at what the perspective tool does. So we have something like this, and something like this. Then we've successfully skewed this text. But then there are more to this. Not just to, you get my point, not just to skew text. There are more you can actually do with this particular tool, and I can actually create a course on this, a tutorial on this, how to use the perspective tool on Pixellab, how to use it very well. Alright, so how to use it on your designs. So that's what the perspective tool does. And then we have 3D rotate. Unlike the normal rotate, we also have 3D rotate. You can see this one can rotate backward and it can rotate forward. That's for the x-axis, and for the y-axis, you can see this is rotating side by side, and this is going backward, forward. You get my point now? So that's what the 3D rotate is all about. So now we are moving to 3D text. So this is our 3D text. When you enable it, you will see something like an oblique angle. Okay, this is a perspective angle. You can see, not because I've activated perspective on this particular text. So let's remove perspective. So we have our text back. So this is it. So once you go to 3D text, it brings in something like this. So you can see, if you look closely, you can actually feel the effect at the back of the text. You can actually feel the effect at the back of it. But then, so that's what the 3D text does naturally. Alright, so if you want to use the 3D text, you can, if this is what you want, you can leave it like this. But if I want to use it, I change it to an oblique angle. Which is the best thing you can actually do. But if you think this is what you actually wanted, you can leave it this way if this is what you want. So if you change it to oblique angle, this one will give you the liberty to actually explore more. You'll be able to put the angle of the text to any place you want. So let's put it at oblique angle. We have depth. This depth, what it does, that you can actually use it to measure the amount of depth that you want on the text. So you can see the depth at the back. So this is the measurements of the depth. So we have 3. So this depth now, it automatically has a color. So you can see this is on auto. We have auto, we have color, and we have gradient. So you can see that down here. So it's currently on auto, so it will pick a color by itself. That's automatic. So you can now choose a color if you feel like. For the oblique angle, you can now choose a color if you feel like you don't like the one that is showing, and if you feel like it is gradient color that you need, that can help you in this particular place, so please do that. So we have the darkness of the angle, so you can see this now, the angle, the oblique angle. So it is called oblique angle. That's in that depth, it is called oblique angle. So you can actually work on the darkness here. So you can see it's actually light. So if you want it to be dark, so it's all based on you, it's all based on you. So we have the extrude stroke. So you can see that the now if you switch off the extrude stroke, then you'll be able to see the colors I'm giving it right here. So you get my point now. You will now be able to see the color I'm giving it here, the one I'm changing, the depth color. Yes, the depth color. So, and if it's a single color you want to give it, you can actually give it here. So you get my point now. So you can always activate the extrude stroke. This extrude stroke is that it will pick the stroke of the original text. Are you listening? It will pick the stroke of the original text and it will add it to the depth of the text. That's what it does naturally. So let's just leave it at. Let's turn on the extrude stroke, and this place is the oblique angle. So you see what I'm telling you, it allows you to explore more. Then from here you can actually choose where you want your angle to be, where you want your angle, your oblique angle, where you want it to be. This is it here. So this is all based on you. This is all based on you. The depth is too much, so if I'm to work on this, I would work with 3. The highest I can work with here is 3. So you get my point now. So it's all based on you, based on what you want. So this is how you can actually work on the oblique on the 3D text. But then that's not all. You can rotate your text if you want, but then we are not working with rotation here. We have the simulate lighting. Most of the time I switch this off because I don't need them. Simulate lighting, I switch it off, and it will be very good for you if you can also switch it off, so that it won't, and if you think it's what you need for that particular design, you can always play around it. So you can see the light angle. This is the light angle where you want the light to show. So you can see when I take it away from this side now, you won't see the light. So this is just like a light fill. So you get the gist now. So this is it, and this is the intensity of the particular stroke that I gave it, the oblique angle. The intensity of the oblique angle. Here we have the shadow, so you can see that now, the shadow of the oblique angle, and here we have the specular hardness. So you can see what it is changing to, the specular hardness. So just play around this thing. There are more for you to learn. So just go explore, go and explore. It's on your phone. Go and explore. All right, the next thing we have here is 3D shadow. This is actually cool, but then I don't use it at all. You can see the shadow beneath the text. So you can see the black shadow beneath the text. That's what the 3D shadow does, and you can change the color of the shadow if you feel like. So you can see, and if you think if the shadow is too bright, you can always reduce it. This is the blur radius of the shadow. This is the blur radius, and if you want to expand it, so you can see, expand by 40, expand by 30, 20, 10, and 0. So this is all based on you. It's all on you. So here we have, let me switch it off. I'm not using it, I don't need it. So here we have reflection. So you can see now, many designers use this, which you can also use, but then I rarely use this particular function, reflection. I rarely use it, reflection. So you can always, shift it based on what you want. This is a reflection of the text you you are working on, the reflection of the text. So that's all for this particular aspect of the text. I believe you understand everything we just spoken about here. So the next thing where we're going to now is here, and this is where we have stickers, we have import, we have draw, we have shapes, we have bezier, and we have arrows. So I don't think we need to work on text, this aspect. Let me just hide the text. Let me hide the text. So if you watch the first session, I told you the function of these five tools here. I told you the function of each, but then in this particular aspect too, we will work on something. All right, this middle aspect has stickers. We have sticker, and this sticker, you can actually see the sticker here. Yes, the white glowing light. The white glowing light is the sticker. This is it. Can you see this? This is the sticker. But then if you activate this sticker, so please listen to me very carefully. If you activate this sticker and you click on your check mark here, the sticker will actually leave, it will disappear. Should we try it out? So let's try it. I will click on my check mark here now, so you can see that the sticker left the design. So if you want to use the sticker, once you click on it, you tap on your screen, anywhere around your screen, you tap on it. So let's try it. Okay, I just tapped on my screen, and we have something like this. You get the gist now. We have this sticker on our screen. Just by tapping on our screen like this, we have this. But if you tap on this check mark, it will leave. You get my point? It will leave if you tap on this check mark. So that is it about the sticker, and that's not all. Let me just delete this so that we can explore more. So if you go to your sticker, you would see more like this. So you can actually, I can actually use all these because I'm on the premium application, and I will share this application with you. This is the premium Pixellab. This is not the ordinary one. This is the premium one, and I can use anything here. You can see I'm on sticker which has the premium icon. You can see this is the premium icon. That's the premium icon. But I have access to everything here. And that's because I'm on the premium version. So we have stickers here too, but I don't use all this though. But they are actually cool. There might be something you need in your designs. Alright, so these are actually cool, but I don't use them. I've never used them on my designs. I've never used them. So we have emojis too. You can always get your emojis from here. So it's all based on you. It's based on what you want. So now the next thing we have here is import. So note, if you are importing anything from this place, it is staying on your design. I believe I've told you this before. Anything you are bringing in from the middle part here is staying on your design. It is staying on your design. So if you import an image from here, let's give it a try. Let's import something. Okay, I actually just flashed my phone, so you can see this is staying on our design. Because we used, and you will notice that after bringing an object into your design, you will have more options here. That is the functions you can actually work with bringing in this image. You get my point now? So let's delete this and bring it in again. So there's two ways you can actually bring in images into your Pixellab software. Is either you use this or you use this place here. Just click on this plus icon here. So let me just talk about this. We are not there yet, but then let me talk about it. If you click on from gallery, then you bring an image into your Pixellab software from your gallery. You get my point now? And it is staying on your design. If you click on shapes, then you are bringing in shapes. If you click on sticker, what I just clicked on there now, then you can bring it in. You get my point? If you click on text here, it is still the same thing as the normal text we just finished. And if you click on draw, it is still the same thing as this draw here. You get my point now? It is still the same thing. Alright, so what you want to do here is okay, we are still on imports. So when you import an image like this, you have these options. You can see we have all these options here. So let me just very quickly talk about them. I think I've spoken about this in the first session, so I won't be going deep into it. This is to actually rotate your image. This one here, these two functions, they are to rotate your image. You get my point now? So those two functions are to rotate your image just this way. You can see that now. And the first one here is to give your picture a mirror effect. So you see now, you can actually switch it this way based on what you actually want, but this will turn it upside down. So you can see this will turn it upside down. If you click here, that is the lock icon here, then you won't have a freehand cropping. That means you've locked the freehand cropping. You would notice that you don't have anything here, this side, so you can't drag it from that side. So if we switch it off now, you can see we have some functions here now. We can now we can now resize our image the way we want. This is freehand cropping. But then, and if you need a circular image that you just want to make it a circular image before you bring it in, you can always activate that here. So I don't want to waste too much of our time on this tutorial, so let's just bring it in. So you can see what we have. I just use the circular function to bring it in. So that's how you can actually bring in images into your Pixellab application. So here we have delete. You know what delete means, you know what crop is. If you click on crop, it will take you to this place. You get my point now. If you click on crop, it will bring you here. So anything you want to do with this, you can actually work on it here. So if you click on if you think you want to change this image, you click on reselect. You get my point. Reselect, and you will choose another image. So that's that. If you click on copy, then you want to make it you want to make a copy of it, you want to duplicate it. So you can see what we have. I just clicked on copy. This is copy. So we have the to front and to back option. I actually spoke about this in the first session, so you can actually take it to front or to back. So let me take this one at the front. If I click to back, you can see it is now at the back. It is now at the back of the image. And if I click to front, you can see it is actually at the front. So that's that about that. I've told you about the relative position. You get my point. In the first part, if you've not watched the first part and you're watching the second part, you can go back so that you can follow up and we can be on the same page. All right, so this is the size. I've spoken about this already. This is color. Note, you can't give an image a color. You get my point now. You can't give an image a color. If you are giving an image a color, then you won't get the original image again. So you just be having a color like this. You get the gist now. You'll be getting a color like this. So it is not very effective to use a color on image. So you can switch that off here. So let's switch it off. You can see the control here. So you can switch it off and you have your image back. You switch it off and you have your image back. So the next thing we have here is texture. I don't think you might need this, but this, I told you what texture is in the first part. This is when you want to bring in an image into a text, into a shape, or into any element. You can actually bring in images into any element using texture. So if you click on this part now, that means you want to bring in an image into this image. Let's try it out. So let me just choose this boy now. So you can see the boy is entering the guy's shape. The image, the guy, this art picture is entering this image here. You get my point? So that's what texture does basically. So let's just delete it and we have an image back. So we have opacity. I've spoken about opacity in our previous videos. It's, you know, just to give it a feel that it's at the background or something. So this is just to lower the brightness of that image. So the next thing we have now is color filter. So there's a lot you actually need to learn about the color filter. You can actually use this to edit your image, but then it is not that effective as other images. And so in our videos, in the more videos I'll be making, I will teach you how to use the color filter. So if you work on this, you can see the person's color is actually changing. The color, clothes, the skin, everything is changing, which is not very good to use on designs this way. It is not very good to use it on designs. But then if you want to change the color of clothes of your image in Pixellab, this is what you will use. These are part of the tools you will use. Maybe in our other tutorials, I'll make a video on how you can actually change the color of images just like this, color of the clothes just like this. So we don't need that. So saturation, what saturation does is that if you reduce saturation, it will change your image to white and black. If you reduce saturation, it will change your image to white and black just like this. And if you increase saturation, it will bring out the intensity of that particular image massively, which is not very good. If you increase its finish, if you take it to the extreme end, then it can likely spoil the image. But then you can actually play around this, you know, and you can give it a black and white feel if that is what you want. The next thing we have here is brightness, and you can always reduce the brightness of the image. You get my point? This is the brightness, and you can always reduce the brightness of that image. Then we have contrast. You can see with this is just bringing out the light part of that image. It is bringing it out alongside with the dark part. it is making it something sharper or something like that. So you can see what this is doing to the image, which is not very good, but it's all based on what you want. It's all based on what you want. So that's that about that. The next thing we have here is stroke. You can actually use strokes on images just like this. You can use strokes on images, so you can see what we have, guys. Yeah, and you can change the color. It's all based on what you want. You can change the color. You can change the color. So this is the stroke with how you want it to show on the element or the objects you actually brought in. So that's that about that. The next thing we have here is eraser. What this eraser does is that you use it to clean. You can use it to clean any part of an image. This is a very creative tool to use. All right, this is a very creative tool to use. And if you think you've just made a mistake while you are working, you can always click here and you undo. That's undo. So you can see I just, let's say I'm erasing this now, then I mistakenly did this. Now I've spoiled the image. What next for me to do is to click undo, and it will restore the damaged part of the image. You get my point now? And if you think this is to zoom it, if you want to zoom and check and just see what you are doing very well, you can see. So this is it. You can always zoom in your image using this particular function here. Yes, you can always zoom in your image. And what we have here, this is the pen size and this is the blur radius. This is the pen size and this is the blur radius. So the pen size, you can increase the pen size, then it increases it cleans the particular image even faster because we've increased the pen size. You can see this, we've increased the pen size. And at the same time, if you think the edges of this cleaning is actually sharp, you can see it is sharp, so you can increase your blur radius, and when you clean now, you see that the edges won't be sharp as this. Let's give it a try. So you can see the difference. You can see the difference of the two. I used this alone while this was off, while the blur radius was off. Then we have a sharper lining, like just like this. We have a sharper cleaning. When we cleaned it, the edges were very sharp. But when we increase the blur radius here, when we cleaned it, we have something blurry at the edge. You can actually use this to blend your images on Pixellab, but then it can actually work to some extent because it's not very much effective, but it will help you. It can help you blend your images. All right, it can help you blend your images. And I think that okay, this is your pencil. Sorry. Okay, let me just reduce this and reduce this. Okay, let's return it back. So this is your this particular aspect is your handle. If you increase it, it will bring out an handle. So you can see the handle now. So if I want to erase and I want to be seeing what I'm erasing, I can hold the handle down here. It erases from here, but I am holding an handle here. You get my point? I'm holding an handle down here. So I can from like this I can see what I want to erase. You can see the work of the handle now. You can see what you want to erase from here. So it will even make you see what you are doing. You get the point now? That's what the handle is there for. It will make you see what you are doing on that particular design. So I think that's all for this particular aspect. We move straight to mask. Yes, mask. We have in and we have out. So there's a lot to actually learn about the mask tool. So as we make more videos and work on this particular application with flyers and creative designs, you get to know how the mask tool works. But this is a very creative tool. This is a very good tool to use on Pixellab. And I would create a video especially for the mask tool, how to use it. Yes, we can't touch that in this particular video. So the next thing we have here is erase color. What this does is that it cleans. You can actually use it to pick a color and you erase it. So for example, let me bring in an image. Let me delete this and bring in an image. So you can see what I'm saying. I said you can either bring in an image from here or you come here. So I want to use the one at the top here now to bring in an image. So from gallery. So it is still the same thing. So you can see what we have here. So let me bring this image. No, not this. Is this? Let me delete this. So let me bring in this. So we have this now. So this is a very good example to use. So if you go to erase color now, this is erase color. If you go to erase color, if you activate it, if you turn it on, if you enable it, what this application does is that this particular tool, what it does is that it will erase the white part of that image. Are you getting me? It will erase the white part of that image. And if you think you are not erasing the white part, you can actually pick the color you want. This is the color picker tool. You can use it to pick where you want to erase. So let's pick a color now. I want to erase the yellow part. If I pick the color, just play around this and you can get the color you want. So I want to erase this yellow color. Then I'll use this check mark here. Yes, you can see the yellow color is gone and I have my white color back. The yellow color is gone and I have my white color back. So let's say it's the white I want to erase to. Just put it here, pick the white color and use the check mark, and the white color is gone. But then if you look at this very closely, you can still find the white colors around it. You can still find the white colors around it. What you just have to do is to increase tolerance. So the white color will go totally. And then this can actually spoil your designs in some areas. You just have to be creative with it. Alright, you have to be creative with it so that it won't spoil your work. So that's what this tool is actually used for. The next thing we have here is rotate. You know what rotate is? So, and we have the 3D rotates too, just like the ones we've been working with since. And we have the 3D shape. Yes, this is just like you activating the oblique angle on an image. So you can see this is the perspective. But then what we need is not this. Let's just use the oblique. So you can see the oblique now. Just this works perfectly on shapes and on text. But then it is still the same thing as what I've spoken about with the text earlier on this video. It is still the same thing with it. So you can just explore and you learn more on these tools. This is perspective, just like the normal thing I've spoken about perspective before. So you can see this now. You can actually use it to skew your image or text or shapes. But we are not there yet. That's not what we are yet to do. Alright, so that's just by the way. So here we have shadows. I've actually spoken about shadows, how you can use it. Here we have the inner shadow. Yes, we've spoken about this also. So if you have not watched this video from the beginning, you can start to watch from the beginning. So we have the inner shadow and the outer shadow, and I've spoken extensively on that in the beginning of this video. So the next thing we have here is emboss. So this is emboss. I would create a special tutorial on this. So you can see this is the light angle. It's all based on what you want. This is the light angle. We have the intensity. You can see this is more like brightness. This is intensity. We have ambience light. We have specular hardness. So you get the point now. And we have bevel. This is bevel. So these are all good tools that you can actually explore. Just go and explore. There are more for you to learn on this particular software. We can't talk about everything in this particular video, so just go and explore. So the next thing we have here is we have this where I told you that once you are here, everything you want to do, anything you do here, it falls back to your background. Alright, it falls back to your background. Anything you do here is for your background. So we go to color. So you can see you can actually pick any color you pick here is going to your background directly. I've told you this already, and if it is a gradient color, this applies to your background. Alright, so if you are working on an image that is transparent, that it needs to be transparent, you need to save it as a PNG image. Then just come here and choose transparent, then it won't have any background. You get my point now. If I should save this image, it will save as a PNG, not JPEG. Okay, you can see it's showing me PNG. So that's it. So it won't have a background if I save it. So now we have image size. So I forgot to tell you this at the beginning of this video. Before you start to make any edits on this particular software, before you start to make any design, you should set up your size, your image size. This is the first thing you should do. So whenever you open this particular software, the first thing you should do is that you should set up your image size so that you won't work amiss, so that you know what you are doing. So, and this is measured in pixels. All right, this is measured in pixels, and it's all based on your recommendation, what your client wants, the size of what you want to design. This is based on pixel, and we have some custom shapes and some custom sizes here. We have square, we have profile picture, we have YouTube channel, we have YouTube channel banner, we have YouTube thumbnail, we have Facebook for cover art. These things are already made. You can see the size has changed, already made sizes for you. So, and if you think what you want to work with is a custom shape, you can put your ratio here. This is 1:1 aspect ratio, so you can see what we have. So this is all based on you. All right, so this crop, you can see this crop is not active, and that is because we didn't use an image as our background. Had we've used an image as our background, then this crop will be active. So let's use an image. This is our image that Pixellab has placed here to help you. All right, these are custom images. These are default backgrounds that Pixellab has actually placed here to help you in one aspect or the other. All right, so I don't use them actually, but you can actually explore them. They're actually good backgrounds to use. So just look at this. This is actually beautiful. All right, this is beautiful, but it's all based on what you want. Okay, so go and explore. So any image you choose there will be on your background, and if you think you want to use an image that's on your phone as your background, then you should go to this particular aspect and choose from gallery. Just go there and choose from gallery. Then any image I choose here will be on my background. So you can see this now. You can see the image is on my background. I can't move it. I can't move this. This is in my background. All right, so I can't move it. So the only thing I can do here is to crop. So you can see the crop option is now active. The crop button is now active. So if you want to crop the image, you can actually do that. If you want to rotate it, you can do that here. So let's return it to how it was. So it was like this. So the next thing we have here is from camera. If you try this out now, it's take it to your camera, and you can take an image and you can use it as your background. Okay, that's what this particular function is for. So the last thing we have here is this. I've told you these last two, they are talking about the background. They are all about the background. So now what we have here, the first thing we have here is rotate. So you can see the background is rotating. This is what I just clicked. The background is rotating. So let's return it. And we have vignette. What vignette is all about is that the edges will be it will give you like a shadow feel on the edges, but the inner part would be clear or something like white or something. You get my point now? That's what vignette is all about. You can see the edges are now even black when I increase the alpha. It is called alpha. You see? So when I increase the alpha, and you can change the color if you want. That's the function of vignette. I think this white is actually okay, and this black too is okay. So that's the color, that's the work of vignette, and this applies to backgrounds. Note, this applies to backgrounds. So you can always switch it off if you don't want again, and if you would like the feel, you can leave it alone. All right, I like it, so I'm leaving it alone. So there's another thing here called noise. Yes, you can actually see this on some people's design, and you'll be like, wow, how they add this texture to it. This particular function is on Pixellab, and you can use it on your designs. This can actually work on backgrounds. You get my point now? It works on backgrounds. So this is just, you know, the amount of time you want it to occur, that particular that noise effect. Yeah, you can see like this. It's like those noise are actually big and they are very visible, but if you increase the enhance here, it will become very tiny and very much on the background. And here we have the alpha. This is just like opacity. You get my point? This is like opacity. It tells you the amount it shows, like the way it shows, just like you bringing up the brightness and reducing the brightness, just like opacity. You get my point? So that's it. That's the work of this. So let's just bring this. Let's just leave it this way. So the next thing we have here is stripes. This is stripe. You can see if you increase the alpha, then it becomes very much visible. And if you this is repeat, you can see just like the noise, the amount of time you want it to repeat, and you get my point. So this is it. This is repeat, this is alpha. So this is like the opacity. But then I don't use this, but you can actually explore them. They are actually good tools you can use. So the next thing we have here is brightness. Let's look at this. So you can actually increase the brightness and reduce the brightness. You can increase the brightness and reduce the brightness. This is all based on what you want. Okay, so let's put it at 0. So here we have contrast. You can see the contrast now. You can see what it's doing to the image. You can see what the contrast is doing to the image. This is all based on you and what you want. And note, this is on your background only. It can't work on the objects you bring into the background, into the image. You get my point now? It can't work on the objects you bring into the image. So that's that. The next thing we have here is hue. This hue is actually like a set of colors that you can actually play with. Hue is a set of colors you can play with. So if when the moment you start working on them, you would see they'll be giving you different colors, different colors. That's what the hue is all about. All right. So the next thing we have here is saturation. You know, I told you what saturation is already. So if you reduce saturation, it will give you black and white on any image or object you are working on. If you reduce saturation, it will give you black and white. And once you increase saturation, it will bring out the intensity of that particular image. You get my point now? So that's all about saturation. And I think we are done with the final part of this particular software. So let's move up. So the first thing you can see up here is this, and this is the layer. This is where you can actually find the objects you've brought into your designs, and you know how you can actually work on them. I think I've spoken about how to move these objects to front and to back on Pixellab. If you have not seen that, you can actually watch the first part of this particular video. So the next thing we have here is grid. Yeah, this is our grid lines. Which is very good tool to use while making your flyer designs or shapes, or when you are working on elements on this particular software. The grid lines will make you to be able to, you know, be updated, and you can actually know what you are doing with the grid lines on. With the grid lines on, you know what you are actually doing. The next thing we have here is we have this, and this is the zoom. So if you click on it now, you'll be able to zoom. Just pinch your screen, and you'll be able to zoom on what you are actually working on. So let me tell you something here. Once you turn this on like this, you won't be able to work on anything on your screen. You can only zoom. You get my point now? You will only be able to zoom. Okay. But once you want to bring this back in, all you need to click is this. You get my point? Click the plus sign and it will go back. So if you click on it, and if you want to take it back in and you are clicking on this part, it won't go back unless you click on this part, on this plus icon. That's when it will go back. But if you are clicking this 100%, it won't go back. You get my point now? So I'm clicking this 100%. You can see it's not going back until you click the plus sign here. Then the zoom button we can now leave. So here is where you have your undo. Probably you make a mistake while editing something on your Canva. You can always click on undo. You can see we are going back to where we are coming from. All right. So what's left there, I think, is the noise. You know, it's not the noise, it's the brightness. I don't even know. Let's just leave that. So you can actually undo using this particular tool. All right. So the next thing we have there is this. So let's click it. So you can see what we have. We have use image from gallery. So you can actually bring in image from your gallery using this particular place. So full screen. After designing and you just want to look at what you've just done, you can click on full screen. All right. You can see what we have. I just clicked on full screen, so we have this. So it will show you your designs very well. So let's take it back, and we have export image. We have use image from camera. That's if you want to use image from camera. Let's say you want to put your image on your design, just take a selfie. And we have image size. We have tutorials. But I don't think these tutorials they are not as detailed as the one I've just given you. All right. So we have the PLP open PLP file. I told you what PLP files are in the first tutorial, and we have released by Mobile Droid. This is the premium version I'm using. This is where I got it from, Mobile Droid. And here is exit. If you want to leave this particular software, if you are done with your edit, you can leave. All right. So here we have quotes. I said I would talk about this earlier. So quotes, and you can still find that quote when you come to A. this text aspect. You can find the quotes here. Can you see this? So these are just quotes that are on this particular software, like motivation. We have motivation. So if you click this drop down, we have success, we have friendship. So these are quotes that you can these are quotes that you can likely need. You can need them sometimes when you're just working on creative design. You can just need some short quotes, so you can get them from here. You can get the quotes from here. And the next thing we have here is share. This is when you want to share your file. You want to share your design as PLP. Note, this is if you want to share your design as PLP file. All right. And here we have save. I don't want this particular tutorial to be longer than 1 hour. We've spent 55 minutes already. So the next thing we have here is save. So this is what save does. You can see that here we have save. So you can either save as project or you save as image. So this particular design, I'll save it as tutorial. So if you come here to my project, I believe I've spoken about this earlier. So if you come down here to my project, you will find your design here. So you can see that here it has saved as tutorial. So you get the point now. So the next thing we have here, okay, that's save as project. So if you want to save as image, I would advise you just leave all this, but you come here, this drop down here, and you change it to ultra. This is ultra. Down here, this is ultra. So if you save as custom, it won't be as sharp as ultra. You get my point? So you go to ultra, then you click on save to gallery, and this will automatically save to your gallery. You'll be able to see it among your images. All right. Yeah. So I believe I've spoken about this already. I've spoken about it. The text, the current date, sticker. So you might have been working on the design and you need the current date. Just click on current date. It will bring it to your design. Current date. Wait, I'm coming. Okay, yeah. So you can see that this is it here. So you can see the current date. So this is the date I'm recording this particular video. So it will bring it into your design. So that's current date for you. So I think that's all about this particular tutorial. Thank you for following me into this particular aspect. Thank you so much for following me to this particular aspect, and I would see you in my next tutorial. Bye for now.